Yo, what's up? This is Super Marisa World, one of my favorite games of all time. We commentate Mile X, its PB at 119.44. Ran this game from January to April 2022, so last year. Before that, my PB was a 154.05 from 2018. Before that was a 2-hour, 4-minute time from 2015 when I ran in Scrubathon 3, an online marathon, long ago. Even though this is one of my favorite games of all time, it just took me forever to actually, do serious attempts of it. So someone by the name of Darko came along and found a lot of strategy improvements to the routes, found tech, found basically everything. As well as 2 TASers, T and NNN. We all kind of came together and drastically made Super Marisa World much faster. That was the intro stage, didn't miss too much there. Get to talk to Rumia. Go behind Rumia, the game crashed, it's pretty cool. And now we're here in the first real stage, Forest of Magic. Let me explain the controls real quick. There's 4 buttons for movement, up, down, left, right, as well as 4 action buttons. The jump button, action button lets you skip all the text, and a button that pauses the game. So you notice I'm getting all these stars. That's because you have to hundo one world in order to access one of the exits at the end of the game in order to fight Yukari. And something else I want to mention is that I have the down button bound to L or L1 on my controller, whichever one I'm using. Because it's a PC game, you can obviously use whatever controller you want. That's so I don't accidentally get any drill kicks. So drill kicks are the main movement mechanic of the game. You can see it right there. Drill kicks let you immediately descend downward. If you're going up, you can drill kick on the next platform so you can quickly ascend as well. Without, having to wait for your jump to complete. Also clears bullets, instantly defeats fuzzies. Just a really cool mechanic in general. And just like that, we're done the first stage. Get to talk to Kawakuma. There's a Kawakuma at the end of every non-boss stage. Always want to talk to Kawakuma from the left, because otherwise Marisa has to walk over to the left. I'm sure you'll see that in a few spots. That first stage, just a basic stage, get you used to the game. The second stage gets you used to bomb blocks. So when you hit a bomb block in this game, it's like a power block from Mario. Any green block that's filled in doesn't get filled in, and vice versa. So here you have to make 2 trips in order to get all the stars in the screen, so even if I miss a few, it doesn't matter because I'm going back in the pipe. And hit the bomb block again, proceed right. Here are some secret stars hidden up top. So you can hundo any world in this game and still get credit for accessing Yukari, but World 0 is just the fastest. For a long time I wasn't sure if World 0 or World 1 was fastest, but recently a lot of work's been done on the 100% routing for this game, and it's definitely going to be the case that World 0 is always going to be the fastest. So here I guess is going to be the first real trick of the run. It's you're going to have to set up hitting that bomb block in such a way that when the bomb block expires at the end of this, you're going to be popped up to the top and be able to get the stars without hitting another bomb block. You see here how right there I did a small drill. That was to set up the timing so I get zipped up here. And yeah, this skips having to wait for a bomb block to run out. Saves a good amount of time. It's one of those things that was found very late into the routing process, again by one of the TASers. Oh yeah, something else is I've written down my best IL times for the X's. That was what, a 401? Yeah, 401. My best ever for that stage is a 406. Forgot what it was for the first stage, but I think it was pretty close. My best is a 442. I think I got a 440, 441 first stage. Alright, next stage. This one's an introduction to pipes. You can see they're all numbered. Of course, all the stars have to be gotten. For this screen, you don't have to get them all in one go because you're have to backtrack, as you'll see coming up. Quick drill, we're back. Now we're back again. You can see a little mini hover there to make it onto the pipe. Oh yeah, so this is the first instance of RNG manipulation. So Chain Chomps and Hammer Brothers are dependent on the RNG of the game, which is determined by 3 things. It's determined by how many stars you have, how many points you have, and the timer, in-game timer, when you enter the relevant section. So because the stars are always the same, because you have to get 100%, your score is usually going to be the same, especially in this category where it's not going to vary too much. You can know what the Chain Chomp does, so he doesn't, eat you. Ending of this screen's pretty cool. This is one of the first things I found when I messed around with save states for the game. Save states are pretty finicky because you basically have to have either a virtual machine or an actual installed Windows XP. Otherwise, Hourglass doesn't like to work. Alright, and this is one of the hardest parts of the first world. Very complicated fuzzy setup here. So I guess I'll quickly explain fuzzy jumping. So, if a fuzzy wakes up in your hand and you're facing the other way, you can do a jump off the fuzzy and get a lot of height. And you're gonna see it again here in order to get these stars and make it over to the right. And this skips getting the broom. Fuzzy jumping is one of the main pieces of tech that was found when we started doing runs again in 2022, or I started doing runs again in 2022. And another part of the fuzzy mechanics is a fuzzy delayed wake up glitch, where if you re-grab a fuzzy, he won't wake up until you put him back down. And that's used to get him to quickly wake up here so you can get these stars and make it back up. There is no way to make it back up there without jumping on a fuzzy. But you're supposed to use the one that was, located right there. Well, very important not to lose the broom here because you need the broom to get the final stars up top. So you don't have to be facing the other way when you do a fuzzy jump, it's also something I should mention, but if you don't face the other way, you're going to take damage. And setting up the timing when the fuzzy wakes up at the precise moment when you're in a jump can be pretty tough. And this will be the last hundo for a little bit. There will be one more, but it won't happen until much later. This is also the first kind of major mistake of the run. I really messed up getting the stars, so I have to wait for a longer cycle. A lot of the hundo stages, which you're only going to see 6 of in this run, end up being cycle-based. So if you make a small mistake, you end up having to wait for another platform, you can lose a lot of time. This stage wasn't always done hundo, or I should say this exit wasn't always done hundo. It used to be that you would go all the way to the end and then come all the way back to get the exit at the beginning of the level. But that's no longer the case, as you'll see directly after this. I guess I'll also take a second to talk about the exit system. Some stages have multiple exits, kind of like the secret exits from Super Mario World. And they lead to different levels and such. The way the world progression works, level progression works a little bit strange, but probably talk about that later. Grab the broom there. I did miss one star, that's only because I'm going to come back and talk to Claude at the end. You need to grab the broom here in order to break these bricks, but it is possible to do without getting the broom, but it's a very complex setup. You need to break a fuzz, you need to get stuck in the wall, and it's kind of like not worth it for RTA. At 408. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be keeping track of these times. That was pretty bad, so I got my best is at 418 there. Alright, coming up is O game. This trick is very complex. I'm not going to be able to explain it all in the very short time it takes to do the trick. The long story short is that you're supposed to get the broom from the end of the stage, come all the way back, use it to break the bricks. You can do some very unintuitive inputs to grab a fuzzy, fling the fuzzy up to the left and break one of the bricks, and then you can do a zip that gets you over to the left and it lets you beat the stage. I'm sure if you check the spreadsheet that lists all the strats we found about this game, there's a very precise explanation of how it actually works. Speaking of complicated tricks though, is a trick called the hover, flying Marisa, spread your wings, whatever you want to call it, which is that if you're holding the jump button when you enter the stage, sometimes Marisa will just be floating forever as long as you hold the jump button. You can use that to ride a platform and boom, that's the secret exit of this stage, 2-1-1. We're in World 2 by the way. And in order to set that up, you have to go into this replay, select the S, then back out, and then hold the jump button. It should be set up. I don't know why it works that way, or why it lets you store this hover, but it's just the way it works. I guess I forgot to mention the replay system, but yeah, after every stage, the game asks you if you want to save a replay, even if you don't beat it. And I guess it's fortunate that exists, because it lets you set up this trick every time, pretty much. And just like that, the stage is skipped. That stage, it was kind of complex to make some of the platform cycles to do it legitimately. But instead you get to do that awesome trick. Alright, so after all that, all the craziness, the run kind of settles down a little bit. Just gonna be making our way over here to the right. You can make this platform cycle, but it's a little bit hard. And get the broom, make our way down here for the secret exit. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be talking about my my best times. Keep forgetting. So the flying Mars, the stage is the last two. It's pretty easy to get close to your best. This one is the 471. If you make that really juiced cycle. Here's just a 469. Yeah, so let me talk about level progression in this game, I guess. So from World 0, you can go to either World 1, World 2, or World 3, depending on where you find the secret exits. And then from World 1, which is this, the ice place, you can go to World 4. From World 2, you can go to World 5. From World 3, you can go to World 6. And from either World 4, 5, or 6, you can go to World 7, the final world in the game. Also, I just messed up. I got the Miko suit there just in case I do get hit, like I did. But you don't actually need to grab it. You want to grab the Miko suit, though, for the secret exit. Well, you don't have to, but it can be kind of useful in order to take out this enemy here at the end. But, you know, if you get hit like I did, you can just grab a fuzzy as a backup. And I'm doing the levels in such a way that I can get to World 4 as fast as possible, because the most annoying trick in the game is in 411, the first stage of World 4. But first we have to do Cherno Climber 121. This is based off of the Ice Climbers game, I think. So this stage underwent a lot of revisions. You really need to get the first half of the stage the same every time, along with the charging Chuck Fuzzies, breaking the bricks in such a way that you can quickly ascend. I kind of messed up the cycle here. I think I'm like 6 seconds off what I was aiming for RTA. But any instance of the stage where you don't have to restart or die, of course, is pretty good. There's a safer strat here where you just die intentionally after grabbing the checkpoint, which sets up these cycles better. But by the end of my grind, I think I was just always doing it deathless, because it is a little bit faster. That stage is much harder than it looks. This is another instance of RNG manipulation here. You want to grab a certain amount of stars in order to make these Hammer Brothers behave in a certain way, Hammer Fuzzies. When Hammer Fuzzies spawn, they always do the same thing, but their second shot is going to vary depending on the RNG that's currently in place. I guess if you haven't noticed by now, all the enemies in the game are fuzzies. Their different colors and sizes indicate what they do. A double cluster, the company that made this game didn't want to put a lot of effort into the enemies, so it's just like, hey, just have one enemy type or one enemy design, just have them do a bunch of different things. I used to grab the Miko suit in this stage, but it was a little bit too slow and unneeded, so I just started skipping it. It saves like a second or two. That was a 457? Yeah, my best is a 459. And now we're on to the first boss of the game. One of the easiest bosses in the run. Before you go into each boss, there's kind of a preview of what you're going to be fighting. And it's Letty Whiterock. She's similar to Bowser from Super Mario Bros. 3. Very simple boss. Again, because you can drill kick through bullets, she just fires bullets directly, you know, at you. You just stay on top of her and just drill through all the bullets. No way to speed up this fight, because in order for the boss to be defeated, she does have to defeat herself. So you just, you know, drill on top of her, go to the right, and repeat until she's done. There is a broom you can grab before this fight in case you're worried about taking damage, but I just started skipping it by the end. It's pretty unneeded. Alright, now we're on World 4. This is the level you're trying to get to as fast as possible because it does have an annoying trick. Grab the checkpoint here because you just have to wait on this platform anyways. And we'll be making our way to the right, baiting these swamps, jumping over them. World 4 is the Scarlet Devil Mansion, by the way, in case you can't tell. We're going to be hitting this bomb block. So the intended way to beat this stage is to clear out all the enemies up top and then run along the top. If you do a precise jump here, you can make it over to the end of the stage before the bomb block expires. And as you can probably tell from watching, you only have one chance at that jump. And if you fail it, you have to die and try again. You can do a strat that mitigates the time loss by taking out some of the enemies up top and doing it like a little bit more legit, but it still wastes a lot of time. Each attempt at the trick wastes about 40 seconds or something like that. So it'd be pretty tough to PB if you don't get this trick twice. Now, yeah, this is gonna be the first instance of an exit that's very similar to the other exit. In World Zero, the secret exits and normal exits are kind of in different spots, and they kind of have unique strategies, but unfortunately for a lot of the levels in this game, there are very similar exits. So we're basically doing the same thing again, just, go a very slightly different spot. I messed around with pause buffering that you jump through the bomb blocks there to make it a little bit easier, but it ended up just hurting me more than it helped me, because I would just mess up the pause instead. Alright, on to 412. Gonna go in this pipe here, moves you forward a little bit faster. That was something that was done in a Nico Let's Play, I think, long ago. There's actually quite a few strats that were taken from the Nico long play. We couldn't figure out on our own. This is also the first instance of RNG manipulation, although it's not very significant. So again, not only are the chain chomps and the Hammer Brothers manipulated, so are boss patterns. So for here, the boss Mei Ling, who's based off of Lemmy Wendy Koopa for Super Mario World, you can just predict which pipe she's going to come out of. It doesn't matter how fast you hit Mei Ling for any hit except for the last one, because she takes the same amount of time to go down. But yeah, as long as you always enter with the same amount of stars, same amount of points, she'll always appear in the same pipes. So you can see right there at the end, you try and go really fast, because that's the only one that matters. Oh, 448, pretty good. Best is a 449. And this is going to be the secret exit 413. This one's also pretty tricky. It's also a pretty unique exit relative to a lot of the other secret exits in the game. Gonna be doing another fuzzy jump here. Grab the fuzzy, wait it out. Also, you had to move in a specific way in the beginning of the level in order to make the chain chomp not eat you. Jump across, make it to the right. That jump is kind of precise, but it's not too bad. Have a visual cue here for jumping between the ice blocks, saves a few seconds. And there's gonna be a chain chomp at the end of this stage too, but it's pretty easy to make sure he doesn't eat you. That jump there across the spikes is also something that was one of the very first things that was added in 2022. What I used to do back in the day was just grab a Mika suit way out of the way in the upper left and just deboost across. And friendly chain chomp. I grabbed the white fuzzy there as a potential shield against the chain chomp, but also it just sets up the movement a little bit better. Now we're going to be taking a much different path in order to get the normal exit. There's also going to be a zip involved. Zips in this game, let's see, I guess I can read the inputs I wrote down in my notes. It's going to be a full crouch jump left into the block, release the buttons, press jump and right at the same time, and then pause, then hold left and unpause. It's kind of like hard to think about what inputs I'm actually doing because it's all muscle memory at this point. I'm just assuming everything I wrote down was correct. And just zip across to the right there. You can grab a fuzzy to take out this swamp, but it's a little bit too annoying. Also, that blue, the way I do the movement there, that blue fuzzy can sometimes get me. But there's a way to make him not get you. Also here I'm going to be talking to Kwakwa from the right, again, even though it is slower, because it's possible for the chain chomp to get you if you're not on the correct RNG. Try and talk to her from the left. But if you talk to her from the right, she can never get you. Alright, now we're fighting Sakya. The first boss for RNG manipulation actually matters. She's based off of Roger the Potted Ghost, as you're about to see. So grab this amount of stars, enter immediately. And she won't use her most threatening attack, which is the World Time Stop. Which is pretty bad because it causes all the knives to go towards Marisa, and also just, locks you in place, of course. But because of RNG manipulation, it's a pretty straightforward fight. Just push the block. Jump over when she lunges at you. God, 452. My best is 453. Wonder how many of these best times I'll remember to actually read off. I feel like I've already forgotten half of them. Alright, this is 4-2-1. This is unfortunately probably the most boring stage in the entire game. This is the closest thing the game has to an auto-scroller. It's mostly just you hold right for a lot, and then you hold left for a lot. The theme of this game is you get to see all the different enemy types as you make your way up and down the stairs of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. So that was the white fuzzy. There are the thwomps. And here are the cute little wiggler fuzzies. And halfway through the stage is going to be the chain chomp section, which will again be RNG manipulated. But because the first half of the stage is just so easy that you're always going to make it there on the same amount of time, pretty much, unless you like bonk a ledge or fail to get into a pipe. Yeah, right here. You can wait a little bit to make the chain chomps more consistent, but I always just went for it. So yeah, if you don't know what the chain chomps are going to do there from the manipulation, it can be pretty scary. Because you don't get a checkpoint until like halfway through. You can go in that pipe and grab a broom, which is what I used to do. But that was back when I thought the Hammer Brothers... When I didn't realize the Hammer Brothers always did the first thing the first time they're spawned. So I was always really scared of that section right there, but it's like, oh, you just jump across. It doesn't really matter how many stars you have or anything like that. And the ending can also be a little bit scary, but there's going to be a shield strategy employed, so yeah, you basically don't need the broom anymore. Good chuck jumps. It's the football fuzzy, charging chuck fuzzy, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, fuzzy re-grabs, it's the permanent shield. Makes you safe versus the chain chomp and the hammer, whatever they may be doing. And just like that, stage is finally over. I guess we could talk about the game itself a little bit. So, I mentioned it before, it was made by Double Cluster, being created in 2007. Obviously it's a Touhou Dojin game, fan game, based on all your favorite Mario Brothers games, mostly Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island though. Such as that stage being based on Star Road 1 from Super Mario World. So grab the broom. This boss is also RNG manipulated, but the RNG manipulation is more complex compared to other bosses. It's a Flandre Scarlet. Flandre? Yeah, Flandre Scarlet. She's based off Wrecking Crew, classic game. So Flandre's RNG changes every time she comes out of the pipe. So every time, yeah, like that, when she comes out, you need to have a specific star and point count. So the amount of bricks I'm breaking here is in order to manipulate her to go to the right spot. It doesn't look like you're really doing much, but this fight can get really out of hand if you're not manipulating it. Like I'll be getting probably like a 454, I think, here. But like the average time without manipulation was like a 430 or something. Alright, this stage, it's the point of the stage is, well, a lot of stages for this game are built for 100%, and for this stage and a lot of others, you can just like skip straight to the end by going over to the left. I was a little bit slow at the beginning there, but because you have to wait on that yellow platform cycle, it doesn't really matter how fast you go. You can take the white fuzzy with you as you break through the bricks, but it's a little bit inconsistent. And you need the white fuzzy there to take out the wiggler in order to get P speed and make it all the way to the top. A gift for Kawakama. So yeah, pretty short stage. Now we're on to the boss of World 4. After this will be no more World 4, no more Scarlet Devil Mansion. We are not coming back. The stage is based off of Marching Mills Fortress from Yoshi's Island. You just have to enter 2 pipes in order to be able to access the main pipe. The way the level works is kind of confusing, especially if you're trying to 100% make it baited and not know where the rest of the stars are. So yeah, the boss can be Remulia Scarlet. She's gonna be based off of Marching Mill. She's dressed up like a cute Rex from Mario World. This is one of the hardest fights in the run, even though it doesn't look like much. The reason because every time you attack her with a drill kick, as you can see, she splits into multiple halves. And if you're not doing this in a very precise way, the clones can get out of hand and they can just overwhelm you. And it's possible to even game over or just lose a bunch of lives and lose a lot of time in the entire run if you don't have all the clones under control. Wow, it looks so easy after you've done runs for 4 months. That's a 445. There's a lot of faster ways of doing the fight, including just getting all the clones stuck in a corner and just mashing drill kick and hoping you don't die, but I never bothered with that. Alright, now we're on to World 7. Well, I fell down there, but fortunately it doesn't matter because I have to wait for the fuzzy to wake up anyways, because I'll be doing another fuzzy jump here, which skips basically the entire stage. Again, one of the many things that was found between January and April of last year. Again, the secret exit first. It's the first real screw of the game. You just gotta press jump and gotta press down as fast as possible in order to drill the screw all the way down. I kind of struggled with it there. My screw drilling isn't as fast as I'd like it to be, but even by my standards, that screw was pretty bad. That was a what? That's a 459. My best there is a 462, and the only variance in the stage really is just how fast you can do the screw. Now, speaking of screw, it's also possible to go through the wall using the screw and skip this fuzzy jump altogether. That's way too hard. It is possible for a human, but I don't think we'll be seeing that in RTA anytime soon. Yeah, you can't really see the screws, but there's before the wall you jump over, there's a screw you can just use to go through a wall. That wasn't too bad. It was a 472, best of 473. I guess they didn't really talk about the Miko suit much. There's 3 power-ups in this game. Yeah, this stage is pretty straightforward, so I guess we'll talk about the power-ups because we're getting the broom in this one. The Miko suit lets you fire either fireballs or hammers, depending on if you're holding up or just not holding up on the controller. And the broom lets you glide, it lets you fly, it lets you defeat enemies. And it has a few other tricks. Right there, I manipulate my momentum in such a way that I was able to get P-speed as soon as I landed. That's something I struggled with for a while, because if you don't do that in a specific way, you have to run back and forth along the ground. You don't get P-speed and skip the entire level. You're not supposed to be able to fly through over the wall like that. You're supposed to go through a pipe, make your way up, etc., but you can just fly right over it. Yeah, there's a third power-up in the game. We won't be seeing her for a while, I guess. This is the hardest X in the game. Wow, it's already over. But that's where Yukari lives. That's just the normal exit to make you think, hey, there's something else going on here. You can see the blue blocks are filled in. One, because we haven't completed a hundo in World 0 yet, and also because in order to clear the other set of blue blocks, you have to defeat the final boss of the game once. Which means you have to skip the credits, unfortunately, because, yeah, it's impossible to watch the credits and also complete all the exits. Now we're on to another boss. Even though I didn't grab any stars, this boss is RNG manipulated. It's just that 0 stars is the best. It's Chen. She's based off the three little pigs boss from Super Mario Land 2. I did bounce on that white fuzzy in order to set the manipulation properly. So yeah, the idea behind the manipulation is just getting the harder phases out of the way early, because Chen speeds up throughout the fight, so that by the end of the fight, the easiest one's just at the end. When she's going at max speed, it doesn't really matter too much. And there you go. Alright, 713. It's my favorite stage in the game. Theme of this level is D-boosts. Doing tons of D-boosts throughout the stage. Ideally here you want to fly across without losing your broom, which I managed to succeed in doing. It lets you skip grabbing a power-up here. Lets you go just a little bit faster. Doing the stage optimally is pretty tough. This is pretty good, yeah. Get the D-boost, grab the broom, then you're able to keep the broom through the spikes and carry it over into the next screen. Had a little bit of setup here to be able to maintain my hover. Because you want to hover over this blue block here. This is not the fastest way of doing this section. Ideally, you just bounce on the white fuzzies, make it all the way to the end, but it's a lot more consistent. Just drill, grab another broom, and fly across. Climbing up that staircase of spikes a little bit harder than it looks. This will take us to the secret exit. Yeah, 433, my best is a 436 for the secret exit, not too bad. Unfortunately, coming up is going to be the first and only unintentional death of the run. You saw the first death with the O-gang trick, where you intentionally die and fling a fuzzy. Here I just really messed up my hovers, took damage way too early. I try and make a jump, but unfortunately I don't make it. It is possible to pause right before you land on spikes, do a spike jump, and make it without taking damage, because you just have like temporary invincibility. But one, I thought I was going to make it with that jump, and two, not very good at that trick anyways. You shouldn't have to do it in all exits anyways, except as a backup. So yeah, that death lost 18 seconds. It's definitely the biggest single mistake of the run. It kind of ruins my mojo for the rest of the exit. You can see there the other strategy. If you mess up keeping the broom, you just grab a Miko suit, take damage, then grab the broom, and go down through the pipe. Here I'm a little bit too low, so I can't clear the blue block, so I take damage early. Have to grab this Miko suit, D-boost, and then grab another broom for B-speed to make it back up. Normal exit, again, I kind of have a setup here where I just go down, looking at a visual cue in the upper left, going to go back up. And the rest of the exit's pretty straightforward. You use this platform to clip up. Depending on the cycle, that may or may not be faster. You can just run to the end and jump through the gap there at the end to get the Quackma. There, setting up the hover, the flying Marisa glitch for this next boss. It isn't required really that you use it for this boss. In fact, I actually think it's a little bit slower to do this, but it gives you a consistent pattern for the boss, which is kind of nice. Depending on if you entered 486 or 487. And this is Ran. She's not based off of any particular boss I'm aware of from classic Mario games. I think you see here, she just spawns the white fuzzies. And you hit her with white fuzzy, and that's it. It's the entire fight. Because I know exactly where she's gonna spawn, it's pretty straightforward. Although, something I will mention is that when she spawns high, you kind of want to jump and hit her off the screen up top. When she spawns low, you kind of want to hit her immediately. Just saves a few frames to do it like that. 455s, not too bad. Best for that was a 456. But yeah, I do lose a little bit of time setting up the glitch. Speaking of which, here's the glitch again. This lets you skip the power up in the box, lets you clear the gap, and so you just crouch fly over. It's also possible just to jump across the top and skip the power up, which is what I was gonna do until that tech was found. It is important to crouch, by the way, otherwise you'll get bought by a fuzzy. This is going to be the last boss in the game, but there's still quite a bit of run left to go. It's just because, again, because you can do the levels in mostly whatever order you want, I decided to do this boss early because for the longest time it was possible that this boss would crash the game. But we kind of figured that out about halfway through the grind. So this boss is RNG manipulated. You lose your Miko suit on purpose to get some drills in. Ideally, or not ideally, what you're supposed to be doing for this fight is to throw the Mecha Suikas back at Suika. But you can just drill on top of her. That's an intentional death in order to set up the drills for the last phase. It's possible to not take that death. It's like 3 or 4 seconds faster. You have to do a strat called Up Back God, where you kind of have to like go off screen as the boulder would hit you, and you land back down, you continue the drills. That was going to be a strat I implemented, but ended up not doing it. And just like that, Patchatuli knowledge is saved, about halfway through the run. Can't skip this little sequence, unfortunately. And again, you do have to do this level at some point other than the end in order to access Yukari. You can skip the credits. The credits are pretty good. I do go through them at the end of this tape. So if you want to watch the credits, just, you know, skip to the end. They're there, I promise. All right, now we're back in World 2, doing the rest of it. This level, it's all about vertical ascent for the first half. Because there's going to be a Chomp present, he is manipulated, so I can just drill kick off of him. It's possible to not bounce off those blue fuzzies a little bit faster. And I got the jump. That jump's a little bit more precise than you would think. If you fail to make it, you just either run off or just don't have enough jump height to make it onto the white fuzzy bounce sequence. I grab the broom here. Remember when I did my casual playthrough this long ago? I was stuck on this level for a while, because it kind of doesn't look like you have enough room to get P-speed there, but that is the intended strategy. Grab the checkpoint just in case. We don't need the broom for the end of this, so just drill down and beat the stage. Alright, this is 222. So this level went through a few revisions, even though it's really short. This is going to be the only instance of flutter storage in the run, where if you flutter on an ice platform, you're able to get a super jump like you just saw, and it boosts you all the way up top where you need to go. Before, you'd have to bounce on a fuzzy to get that location. Flutter storage is used a lot in 100%, especially in this stage. But here, that's the only instance where you really need it. Just fly over the entire level and you're at the end. Alright, and this stage. This stage is, it's not too complex. The only thing that really matters is making the platform cycle here. You can skip that little hop there and just jump straight onto the blue fuzzy, but sometimes it would mess it up and I'd die and it would really suck, so end up playing it kind of safe. Small setup there to get up top. That's why you need the Miko suit to do the D-boost. You can make this platform cycle, make it to the end. Yeah, 472, best of the 473 there. The intended strategy of this level is you're supposed to ride the top path the entire way through and we'll get the secret exit, but it's actually just faster to take the bottom path and just go up at the very end rather than just take the top path, because top path is kind of slow. So same deal here. You can skip the Miko for the normal exit, but the platforms kind of line up a little bit better if you get it. You don't have to do that D-boost, just, you know, kind of works out better. Yeah, 473, best of the 475. A lot of the IL times are kind of juiced from doing either unrealistic strats or similar to that. Alright, this is a boss stage. And that power-up block is a Miko suit. I used to get that to be a little bit safe, but this boss is pretty easy. But I do get the checkpoint as a modest safety measure just in case, because if you die, you do have to do the entire stage over again. And it's Misty. She's like the Koopa battles from Super Mario Bros. 3. You know, where they bounce around. Just gotta jump on her head a bunch and then she goes down. She's not RNG manipulated, but she'll always do the same thing each time as long as you place Marisa in the same spot. You can take out that boss with fireballs, not hammers, but only fireballs. But I don't think it's ever gonna be faster for a human to do that. And this will be the boss of World 2 and the end of World 2. And this is gonna be the second significant mistake of the run. Well, I guess third? Yeah, third significant mistake. I'm supposed to get in that pipe immediately, as you probably noticed. And that really messes up the manipulation for this boss. You're supposed to get 40 stars and enter at 460, or 477, yeah. But instead I just enter at 473, and I have no idea what the boss is gonna do. It's Aya. It's based off Raphael the Raven. The boss is just supposed to go to the left, and then you pound the screw, and you do this sequence that I, end up doing here, but it's all supposed to happen way, way faster. Yeah, unfortunately I messed up the manipulation. It's a good thing I didn't die. But still quite a bit slow. There's a 452. My best is a 464. Yeah. Alright, on to World 5. This stage is going to be pretty long, and we are going to be doing it twice. So this climb up here, didn't used to always do it like this. Before I would just throw hammers and just jump up. Yeah, if you bounce off the yellow fuzzy, it's like 2 seconds faster over a normal hammer climb. The hammers, as you can probably notice, will instantly defeat any enemy in the entire game other than bosses. I used to skip knocking down that screw, but you can just jump over it. It's not too bad. It took us a long time to realize you could just jump through those pipes as well before you would take the an extra pipe and just slow. There's a few things I could mention here, but I'll save it for the other instance of the exit, because again, this is a longer stage. That's an intentional deboost. Don't really need the Miko suit after you clear out those thwomps. Oh yeah, something I do want to mention for this exit in particular, I am trying to keep careful track of my stars and my score just for that chain chomp at the very end to avoid having to slow down for him. You don't have to do it, but I mean, you might as well, just so you can have a safe exit. A little bit better climb, I think. It's possible to just drill kick on those thwomps instead of taking them out. There's a lot of different ways to do the movement of this this screen in particular. Oh, bonked a little bit. Careful. There's a Miko suit in that power-up block to the right. You usually won't need it. But yeah, so going in that pipe is something, it fixes the piranha plants so they don't actually attack you. It is a little bit slower compared to just jumping to the left, but it makes the section a lot easier. So here, if you do this section really, really fast, you can make an earlier platform cycle, and you can clip through the spikes up top, and then use your iframes to go through the thwomps. It saves like 5 seconds or so, but it's pretty tough to go fast enough in order to be able to do that. That was something that was found after stopped doing runs. But even then, it'd be pretty tough to actually get in a real run. A little bit of setup there. You're supposed to hit the bomb blocks, knock down a screw, but don't have time for that. You can just do a bounce off the fuzzy. This is a 517. Best is a 521. Yeah, 4 seconds off. But it's a longer stage, so kind of be expected. Alright, this is it. This is 521. This is the pyramid. This is one of the most legendary stages in Super Marisa World, especially all exits. This stage went through a lot of iterations. Also, right up there, I was intentionally just waiting around in order to fix the piranhas, because you have to wait for the bomb block cycle anyways. This stage went through a lot of iterations. There's a lot to say about the stage, but long story short, this is going to be the last instance you ever see of the stage being done like this, because a way easier method was found of beating it, where you grab the power-up located to the left, you can't see right now, and use it to skip this whole fuzzy sequence. It used to be that you would just try and go immediately to the left using a fuzzy. It'd be that you like went up top and hit the bomb block instead of going down below. There's so many ways to skip this level, because the point of this level is you're supposed to go through the entire pyramid. It's a big maze level, but you can skip it. There's actually a level they patched, because in earlier versions of the game, it was way easier to do it. But yeah, you can just skip it like that, but you're never going to see that method ever again, because it's just a way easier method. So please enjoy that version of the pyramid skip. All right, now we're on to a boss. Doesn't look like a boss, but it is a boss. It's the Angry Sun from Mario 3, Marupo. And you need to take out the boss with the white fuzzies. There's more tech than you would think, though, with this boss. As we've seen here, you can get quick hits by just immediately throwing the fuzzy up, moving a little bit right, and just chaining hits like that. You can get a few more quick hits than I did. My best is a 469 there, but yeah, 467 is pretty good. Not too complex. This is another boss. For this stage, you just want to jump off the end there. Running across those platforms is a bit easier than it looks. Also, I took those clouds kind of safe. Now we slowly wait to make our way up to the boss. It seems like there should be a better way to make these platform cycles, but there isn't. Alright, so Prison Road Sisters, Reznor. So the way this boss works is that when you hit one of the girls 5 times, they're defeated and the platforms underneath you start disappearing. So as you might imagine, the strat is just to hit them 4 times. I hit that one 3 times, just as a little bit of a safety strat. And you just finish them off. It looks like a pretty straightforward fight, and it kind of is, but it can go out of control really fast if you miss one of the hits. Even ended up game overing there, if it goes too awry. And now we're in the ghost house. This level gets my vote for the level that was routed the most poorly when I ran this game in 2018. So even though no major trick was found, just the overall movement of the stage has been vastly improved compared to the old days. The way I got the Miko suit there was kind of unique, but I guess I'll mention that for the other exit, because the stage will be doing twice here. It used to be that I would take my time, just slow down, take out all the ghosts, because I was so afraid of losing the Miko suit. Because doing the stage without the Miko suit is kind of tough. But yeah, if you actually plan it out, know where the ghosts are going to be, it's not bad at all. In fact, you can go quite a bit faster than I am going in this level right now, but it's best not to go too ham. So if you keep the Miko suit here, you can use it to take out the thwomp. Save a little bit of time. Right now, there's a giant wave of ghosts that are chasing Marisa, but in an actual speedrun, you're going to be going so fast you're never going to see them. Very minor, but there's a setup here to have a good descent down the stairs. Kind of get stuck there, otherwise. This section looks really scary, but even if you don't have the Miko, there's just a safer strat we run against the wall, and as long as you don't stop moving forward, you're going to be pretty safe most of the time. And the secret exit's just right up here. It's possible to reduce slowing down when you're making up top like that, but it's kind of not worth it. Only saves like a second or so. Okay, so right here, you're throwing the fuzzy, you're hitting a power-up block up top, but you're not sure which way the Miko suit's gonna go, if it's gonna go to the left or to the right. So you kind of just option select it. It doesn't really matter too much to do movement like that. But as far as making the Miko suit go the same way consistently each time, that was never really figured out. But yeah, it's not really a big deal. So yeah, each jump and instance of firing shots is pre-planned, as you might imagine. You can make it through while losing the Miko suit, but I was never that great at the backups involving it. The ghosts, as you can probably tell, are only defeated by the hammers. They cannot be taken out with fireballs. Basically, there's some fuzzies that can be defeated with both, and some are just the hammers. It's possible to avoid going backwards there to set up the speed needed for the high jump, but I never found it worth it. Also, I think you'll be seeing a better showcase of the strat I'm trying to do here. If you do like a drill, then immediately turn around, you can keep your Miko suit. Just makes things a little bit safer. Alright, Ghost House is done. It's not coming back. Alright, on to 523, what I like to call the arena. This level is all about taking out a bunch of enemies, all about the Miko suit. Tons of different fuzzies will be in your path. You have to defeat them as quickly as possible. It is possible to do the stage without the Miko suits, but it is pretty tough, and it takes a long time. Fortunately, you will not be seeing that here. Intentional deboost there, because we'll be getting our Miko suit back. For this section, what I always focused on was just taking out that blue fuzzy up top. If you can take him out, it's pretty easy to deal with the rest of the stage. That was a little bit slow though, didn't make it up top. Also, this will be the last time you ever see the room done like this. This is really slow. What you can just do is just drill the wigglers and just make it straight up to the top. Saves like 2 or 3 seconds, I think. But that was found by a TASer after I'd stopped doing runs. But yeah, that strategy is safer and easier. The one I just described, not the one I just did. So this section a little bit steery again because the Hammer Brothers. There's no way you're going to be able to keep track of your points in a stage like this, so no telling what they're going to be able to do there. But as long as you make it through the first half of that screen, yeah, you'll be okay because the final screens are pretty easy. Alright, it's the boss. Boss of World 5. RNG manipulation is employed for this boss, but it's not dependent on the usual factors, the star, score, time. Instead, it's dependent on what Marisa does at the beginning of the fight. It's Yuko, by the way. Yuko. Boo boss from Yoshi's Island. So depending on Marisa's movement, you'll get different spawns of the ghosts, so the most consistent thing you can do, as you might imagine, is do nothing. And it'll always give you a consistent set of ghosts. Pretty nice because this boss was pretty tough for a while because you wouldn't be able to know where the ghosts were coming from. So Yuko would descend, she'd try and eat you, or you would just ram into a ghost and just be pretty awkward to deal with. Easy 462, that does match ILPB, as you might imagine. It's pretty easy to get close to ILPB with a lot of the bosses. For this boss, I do a safer manipulation than the one I do in ILPB. Each time you bounce on a successive enemy in this game, you do get more points. As you might imagine, the points, as you saw there, the points went up higher than you would think they would. And it's a Yeoman. I think she's supposed to be based off the Wiggler boss from Sunshine, maybe. You just want to manipulate her to run or dash to the right in the middle row. It allows you to set up this infinite, which is very easy to do. This is something I even did back in the old days. Only thing to really mention here is that you kind of want to hit the block as far right as possible. That ensures you'll get the stuck. Alright, back to World 1. Remember this exit? It's a long time ago. Hopefully it'll go better than the first time. That pipe's just a shortcut, as I'm sure you surmised. This level is based off of Super Mario Bros. 1-2. It definitely has some similarities. So you're supposed to jump up here to get the secret exit, but it's also just faster for the normal exit as well. And you really don't need the Miko suit for this, but I always just grabbed it to be safe and keep muscle memory the same. Alright, 1-1-2. This will be the last actual stage of World 1. This one's pretty cool. It's just a very quick downward descent. How good are you at drill kicking? Clip the green platform. Grab the checkpoint, as you might imagine, not needed. But better to be safe. There's Kawakuma, but wait, we're going past. This reminds me of those secret exits in Super Mario World where it's just, you know, there's an exit and you just go like, you know, 5 seconds to the right and there's another exit. You don't need the broom technically for that exit, but it requires a million spike jumps that I mentioned before. You just give Marisa temporary invincibility. Definitely not worth it. Alright, let's do it again. My best for the secret exit's a 464, best for the normal exit's a 473. Throughout most of this run, other than the levels I explicitly mentioned, I am getting within, I'd say like 3 seconds of my ILPB. Unless the strategy is absolutely ludicrous. Yeah, 471, yeah, 2 seconds off, pretty good. So far it's just been the hundo cycle in one of the World 0 levels, the death in 713, and messing up the eye manipulation. Other than that, this run's been alright. This boss is kind of manipulated, but it doesn't really matter too much. This is supposed to be the first boss in the game if you're doing levels in order. This is also one of the hardest bosses in the run because of the strategy employed. And it's Cherno. It's the frog boss from Yabi. So you keep the P speed here, and you can just do this. Mash jump and the action button to chain hit the uvula and defeat it very quickly. It's a little bit harder than it looks. It's possible to like drop Cherno and have to go pick her back up. But yeah, it just basically skips the entire fight. Alright, remember World 0? It's been a while. We still have one more hundo left to do. But first, the normal exit. This level is based off of Super Mario Bros. 3, 1-1, except it's in reverse. It's crazy. Don't need to get the broom here, but it wastes a very small amount of time, just makes the level a little bit easier. Alright, final hundo. So this hundo is the easiest hundo out of all of them. So it doesn't really matter that it's done late. The routing for the speedruns, you might imagine, is to do all the hard levels as early as possible and then kind of have like an easy ending. I guess I forgot to mention this about hundo. This is a very important part. Not only do you have to get all the stars, but you also cannot die. Because you need a 100 special score in order to unlock Yukari. And half of that is just from getting all the stars. The other half is from retaining all your lives. It's kind of a very important thing I probably should have mentioned earlier. But at least I remembered in time. Sorry, gotta do the commentary one shot. Also, the stars say Marisa. Wow. Gotta do the commentary one shot. It's too much effort otherwise. Leave that to the real YouTubers to do multiple takes. Alright, now we're in World 3. Do an illegal jump there to grab that fuzzy. It was one of the very first pieces of tech found in 2022. The memories. And then grab the broom and make your way to the right. The theme of this level is that they give you a broom very early, but as a cruel joke, there's nowhere where you can actually get P-speed to fly over the level. That's not necessarily true, but either way, I'll be doing a fuzzy jump here too. Like, you're supposed to be able to get P-speed by drilling down the screws and you fly up, but it's just faster to do a fuzzy jump. That's one of the last things I added to runs. A little bit harder than it looks. Actually, no, it's a little bit easier than it looks. But you can mess it up. But if you mess it up, you just do the normal exit. It's not a big deal. Another illegal jump. You can skip the broom for the normal exit, but I always like to grab it because it didn't take that long. And it's just easier to have the same muscle memory for both exits. Do a full jump there. I like to have lyrics for all the songs in this game. I think I missed the Blue Rex Kadama's Cute and Cuddly song in World 1. So you just imagine I sang it. Alright, 3, 2, 1. This is the epic level design level. This level is an homage to ROM hacks, to Mario Maker, even though Mario Maker wouldn't come out for many years after this game. Rice decided to place stuff wherever they wanted to. We'll be doing a fuzzy jump here to avoid waiting out the bomb block. And I remember when I would do runs of this, I would always mess the stage up in different ways. It's actually looking like it's going pretty well, but I accidentally fall down there. What you're supposed to do is deboost off the spikes, get rid of the Miko suit, and just run along the top. It's not a huge mistake, but it did waste several seconds. You don't really need the Miko suit at this point. More blocks just placed wherever. Fortunately, you can skip the genius of the last half of the stage by just flying over it. Trust me, you don't want to see what's going on down there. So yeah, 432, my best is a 441. Didn't really look like I lost that much, but it's the way it goes. Alright, the stage has a lot of chain shots. It's supposed to be like a puzzle level where you get all the stars, but you can just skip a bunch of it if all you do is care about going to the end. Again, the chain shot is manipulated, so I know he's going to go up, so I can just drill kick on top of him. And also be doing a fuzzy jump. This is one of the last things I implemented in runs. I'm going to be keeping this guy all the way to the end of the stage, using him to skip past this section. Before you just do the same thing, but use that white fuzzy right there. So yeah, I put him down so he starts waking up again. And no need to turn around to preserve the Miko. Just hold forward, a little bit easier. That's pretty good. 554. Best is a 555. This stage also has a skip that's very straightforward. Just jump on this guy, jump on the blue guy, and that's it. It's the end of the level. This skip's been known about ever since the 8% days. It's another screw. This one's also pretty bad. At the very end, I start knocking it down fast, but by then it was too late. Didn't matter anymore. Lost over 2 seconds to that screw. Yeah, for the longest time, people only ran 8% for this game. By people, I mean like maybe 2 or 3 runners. Now it's the only all-exits runner. That was the case for the entire time the game was out, until 2022, when it all changed. It is possible to get a 490 on this exit, but it's pretty tough. And it doesn't really matter at all. Cave. It's the football boss. This one's pretty easy. All World 3 is actually very easy in an all-exit setting. It's kinda based off of Iggy, Larry from Super Mario World. The bosses that, you know, run back and forth along the wall. She fires the lasers, but it's very easy to just hit her and just go to a safe spot. And just keep drill kicking her. No manipulation needed. That's only a second off my IL dust. Also, for this world, I was never really sure what this world was supposed to represent in the Touhou universe. I always called it Yokai Mountain, but it's, the worlds don't actually have official names. I know on the Touhou wiki it's just referred to as Hills Volcano World. But either way, it's almost done. This Miko is just a safety. Can easily be skipped. It's Moku. She's Iggy. Did I say Iggy Larry for the last one? I meant Morton Roy for the last one. This is Iggy Larry. Anyways, just drill kick her 3 times. She's done. You can use the hammers to knock her around, but it's pointless. Alright, and finally, we're in World 6. It's the only world you haven't seen so far. This is House of Eternity, Bamboo Land. For the longest time, I would go in that pipe and that takes you to like a little bonus area that warps you further ahead. But it saves a few seconds to skip the pipe, and the movement required isn't that more difficult. intentional D-boost here to get across the spikes, get the broom. That jump can be a little bit scary, but normally it's gonna be fun. It lets you get P-speed to make it up to the secret exit. Because my ILPB is going by game time, not actually sure what a good IGT is there for that strat where you skip the pipe. Alright, let's do it a second time. You can kind of see what I mean by the exits just being very similar to one another for the most part in this game. If I had to voice one complaint about the game's level design, it would be that fact. That a lot of the secret and normal exits just end up being the same. Alright, set up the flying Marisa glitch here. Not needed, really. It just lets you get past this first screen pretty easily. This is the 621 Spike Trap, Kaiser Trap level, as I like to call it. Theme of the stage, as you can see, is spikes. This is one of the scariest stages when I ran this game back in the dark ages. But these days it really isn't that bad at all. And they do give you a checkpoint every single screen, so... Not too much to say here other than just ramming the spikes. I used to not make that cycle for some reason, but it's pretty easy to make that cycle. Here you can just pretty much just jump and hold forward, be safe across the green platforms, except at the end there. This is probably the trickiest room. This last set, it's kind of hard to drill without dying. So in this game, canceling a drill kick, you basically just have to tap the down button, which is another reason why I have it bound to a button rather than on a D-pad. It's just easier to tap it. Because if you just press it for a small amount of time, Marisa won't complete the drill kick, because if she does there, she'll drill into the spikes and die. That ghost section can also be a little bit scary. But as long as you don't ever crouch or press the down button at all, you'll never risk accidentally drill kicking. If you take out one of the bricks, it's just impossible to clear the level. Alright, another boss. This one's also manipulated. It's Aaron. And she's Dr. Mario. So she, there's 3 different colors on the pills. The blue ones move the pill, the red ones just stop the pill in place, and the yellow ones let you get high. Because we know the pattern of the pills, let's get up top really quickly and take her out. There's a little bit faster manipulation that saves like 1.5 seconds, but it's not worth going for. Mostly because of the entry to the boss. Alright, RNG manipulation setup for this boss as well. Do you need the Miko suit? It's not a safety here. And the boss is Touhou. 2 ways to take out this boss. She's a Bowser from SMB1. You can drill down all the screws, or you can use the hammers. A little bit of setup there to get her to the correct spot to just, wail on her with hammers. The longest time was thought not to be worth it because she was just too erratic, but if you just place Marisa at certain spots, very easy to take her out with the hammers. It saves quite a bit over knocking down the screws. This is no stage you just skip. Just jump on a fuzzy and fly across. Another instance, as you can see there, just an exit being a little bit past the secret exit being a little bit past the normal exit. This is another skip that's been around since the 80% days. Because 80% did, obviously, World 0, then it went to World 3, and then it went to World 6, which is what we're in right now. That stage is pretty cool though, but yeah, gotta wait for a hundo to see all of it. speaking of easy stages, here's the only power-up you haven't seen so far, which is Rumia. Rumia is the Starman / invincibility of the game. Or I guess the Yoshi of the game. And this is also kind of an auto-scroller. So the idea is that, you know, instead of collecting stars like you would in a real game, a real Mario game, you just collect meat, and as long as you keep feeding Rumia, she keeps being active. This section right here is taken from a Cave of the Bandits at Yoshi's Island, by the way. The level design seems similar. And you're doing a few skips here by jumping over the level. So in order to do this skip here, which you only grab one piece of meat, because Rumia actually cannot beat the stage. If you try and talk to Kawakamo with Rumia, it doesn't work. So you have to wait for Rumia to run out. So by skipping one piece of meat, you're able to end the stage 8 seconds earlier, I think it is, which is how long a Rumia cycle lasts. Here I get heckin' lost and have to check my notes to make sure I can solve the spike maze, which is pretty embarrassing considering I ran this game for 4 months. But you know, you can never be too safe. And then Rumia runs out, we're able to complete the stage. Not too much there, because again, yeah, you just, well, if you're skipping the meat like that, yeah, it does matter how fast you're going. But it's mostly just a hold right stage. Alright, so the boss of World 6. So, this looks very similar to the end of Super Mario Land. It's possible to do the beginning of the stage a little bit faster by not slowing down for the blue fuzzies, but you really want to risk it here towards the end of the run. This is the last of the 3 impossible bosses. It's Kaguya. So for Kaguya, what do you want to do? You want to mash. You want to mash the buttons as fast as possible to get as many shots out as possible. I'm pretty bad at this boss, but this ends up being time mile PB. This is the fastest I had ever done the boss. It just happened to be in this run, my overall PB, which is pretty good. So you can either fire the fireballs or the hammers. The hammers do way more damage, but it's kind of hard to get them set up for the first 3 phases, so I just do it for the last 2 phases. If you only watch that IL, you'd think I was actually good at the fight, but I'm not. I just got really lucky, didn't blow it. I guess something I should mention too that I haven't mentioned at all is that if you die on a boss, it retains your progress. So, you know, if I were to die in the Kaguya fight, it would, she would still be on, like, the 3rd phase if I was already in the 3rd phase, for example, but this run, in practice, doesn't have any actual deaths on the bosses. This is Raisin. This is a warrior from Super Mario Land 2. She's the easiest boss in the run. It's gotta be a little bit far away from the wall, like 1 pixel from the wall, and she'll drop early. And then you just kind of have to, like, jump deep into the wall, and you just, keep drilling her. She's done. Didn't get a chance to explain it because it was over so fast. Alright, 2 more levels left, 2 more exits left. And this is one of the longer ones. This is the maze. Save this one for the end because, you know, who wants to go through the maze every single run unless, you know, you're on a good run. The movement for this is actually pretty complex. This is one of the most movement-intensive stages because you just want to, you know, have really good drill kicks. Whether you're descending or ascending, it just matters how fast you can drill kick and get to the next platform. Grabbing this Miko suit is a safety. I don't even grab it correctly. Very possible to skip the Miko, but because I do this level at the end of the run, I just like to be a little bit safe. And again, this was a 119 pace. It's hard to forget, you know, I'm commentating a run that I grinded 4 months for. Although, granted, you know, a lot of tech was found, like, pretty much every week or so. So whatever time I had at the time, it didn't really matter until, you know, new stuff stopped being found. It's like, okay, well, 119 seems like the final goal. So, you know, better be safe here. The biggest improvement to the maze over the course of grinding this game was just drilling the piranhas and doing pipe jumps. Again, it's a little bit safer if you have the Miko suit. Because the piranhas can't get you if you do it too early or too late. I think this maid ends up losing like 10 seconds or so to a ILPB. Some of that's from the Miko, but a lot of it that is just from being like really slow and really sloppy. Intentional deboost there. Make up some of the time again the Miko. Yeah, 678, my best is 691. So over 10 seconds off. Alright, this is the final level in the game. This will be Yukari stage. You can see the blue blocks are gone, because we hunted one world and defeated Suiko once. And unlike all the other bosses, she has like an actual level before the fight. And they're based off of all the Lakitu stages from classic Mario games. This one is SMB1, 4-1. Also, this stage also goes really poorly, because I just couldn't keep it together at the end of the run. Lose the Miko suit. Here I have to remember which block is the backup Miko suit actually in. I do manage to find it. Fortunately, I think that's the last major mistake of my PB. The rest of the screens go okay, I think. Yeah, huge time loss there in that first screen, unfortunately. This is a SMB1 6-1, at least according to the Touhou wiki. So you can see Yukari up there, she's chucking out the Spinies. And the idea is just to go as fast as possible while using the hammers to take them out. So you can do the levels in any order in this game, but I always like to do Yukari last for tradition's sake. Because she was supposed to be this, ultimate epic final boss, but as you see when we actually get in the fight, the Yukari fight is not as epic as I remember it being back in 2015. This is a SMB 3-3-4, I believe. And this is SMB 3-5-8. Let's give that checkpoint. You actually get an automatic checkpoint just from entering the Yukari fight. So the idea here is that she throws Spinies. You're supposed to grab the white ones and throw them back at her. And it's this long, epic duel. But apparently you can just drill kick on Yukari, which was something, again, that was found in the Nico Let's Play. It saves a lot of time and makes the fight way, way easier, as you might imagine. So the first, month, 2 months, we were grinding this game. Didn't know you could just drill kick on Yukari. It really is that easy. Might be asking, why didn't you, try this back in, 2015, 2018, whenever you were around the game? I just really didn't think it would work. Yeah, it skips everything. Chen and Ran come out and attack you. Yeah, you're not gonna see that. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about the spell card phase, which lasts about 2 minutes. Your only goal here is just to survive. But it's the same every time, so just go to designated spots and you'll always be safe. Even over a year later, I can't believe you can just drill kick Yukari. It really was that simple. It's funny too, because remember Darko spent an entire day coming up with RNG manipulations for the Yukari fight in order to get the maximum amount of white fuzzies. Because, for the longest time we're just dealing with trying to get good luck. Because she doesn't throw white fuzzies, you can't attack her. But don't gotta worry about that anymore. In fact, as a result, there's almost no, true randomness to the game. Oh, so that's just an intentional deboost. You can't get through that without taking damage, but because I have some spare Mikos, there's no point. It's possible I mess up clearing the bullets, and it's just easy to take a deboost there. Yeah, everything at this point has a manipulation, including Chain Chomps and Hammer Bros. So if you like games that don't have a lot of randomness, or any randomness really, this is the game for you. This game also has no auto-scrollers, unless you count this as an auto-scroller. It might just be the perfect speedrun. These hammers do nothing. Right now I'm showing off that I can throw hammers while crouching, because the way I have my buttons bound. Because you're supposed to have to hold up to throw hammers, but I'm also crouching, which involves holding down. Grab the Miko suit just for fun. Ooh, good drill. You see Marisa's undergarments. Timing stops when the last exit flips over. There's a 119.44. Wow, I'm saving the replay. I'm hype. What I like to do too, whenever I complete the run, is I go back and first of all, I make sure I actually got every exit. Didn't actually ever end up missing an exit when doing runs of this, but you know, never be too safe. I show off all the scores for every exit to be preserved by future Marisa philosophers and scientists and historians for critical analysis. I like how so many of the scores are just 50 because you didn't get any stars, or I guess special scores. Didn't get any stars, but you didn't die, which is just 50 from having all 5 of your lives. Final score is 6599610. Thank you for playing. Oh, you can see my hundo file in slot 3. Ah, the memories. Because every time you hundo a world in this game, you get an @ symbol on the file. Not sure what I'm talking about here in the live run. I'm about to go back into Suika's stage so you can see the credits. Any second now. Guess I was popping off. Let's see, did I forget anything I want to talk about in this run? Guess I'll quickly scroll through the notes I made. Obviously, huge shoutouts again to Darko for finding most of the stuff in this game. The TASers, T and NNN. We're finding a lot of tech in this game. Super Marisa World January, Super Marisa World February, Super Marisa World March, and Super Marisa World April were all pretty good. Currently, I'm learning 100% for this game, which is way, way harder. Because not only do you have to do much more content, but also you can't die. Because again, if you die, you don't get a 100 special score. So you have to redo the entire stage. It takes a while to learn. Double Cluster has disbanded, the company that made this game. They are nowhere to be seen. Their official website is done. It's unfortunate. I'm praying for the Super Marisa World remaster though. Never give up. So you just, download this game yourself from various Touhou fan game websites. You want version 1.05. It's the most recent version, also the least buggy version, and also the version that speedruns are done on. Got her. Usually I mess up the fight when I'm just doing the run to get the credits. That time it went well. There's a faster manipulation, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that than the one I did in the run and right there. But it only saves like 1 second. Yeah, there is a spreadsheet of various things. My best ILs, Darko's best ILs, and he also wrote down a lot of the tech for the game. I'll probably link that if it's publicly available, which I think it is. And here are the credits of the game. Some of my favorite credits in any game. The art's really good. How many references can you spot? Whoa, is that Touhou naked? I don't know. But yeah, running this game the beginning of 2022 was a lot of fun. One of the most some of the most fun I've ever had grinding a game. I would like to go for the 118 at some point, but yeah, for right now I'm more focused on 100%. The thing about Marisa is that Marisa will always be there. It was there from 2015 to 2021. And it'll be there from 2023 to 2099. 2100 though, Marisa's banned. Well, I'm sure there's a bunch of things I forgot to mention. I kind of stopped mentioning my best IL times as well for a lot of the stages. But you know what? That's okay. The important thing is the commentary is done. I probably could have broken it up into multiple pieces and done a better job overall, but then it never would have got done. So I hope you enjoyed. I like to go on the thinking pipe after a run to analyze the run. But no need to do that because VOD's almost over. Thank you for watching. I should be able to upload this before Darko's marathon run of the game. Should be coming up on March 9th? March 10th, that's the one. But yeah, so Marisa World owns. Should pick up the game. Thanks for watching. We got 10 seconds left. Super Marisa World's amazing. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Goodbye!